You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
There he is in all of his glory. Suey Award winner George Toma, the sod father, the Lord of Lawn, the God of Grass. It is in the news right now. In the wake of the Aaron Rodgers injury, the new head of the NFL Players Union on Wednesday called for the elimination of all turf fields league-wide, calling it, quote, the easiest decision the league can make. An hour and a half later, Roger Goodell went on First Take and said this.
In many cases, but you also have other players who like playing on a turf field because it's faster.
That's true.
So you've got a mixed opinions. What we want to go is on science. We want to go on what's the best from an injury standpoint to prevent the injuries, to give our players the best possible surface to play on. And that can't be done by my feeling of looking at a particular injury. It's got to be done with a real process and to look at it with medical experts, look at it with engineers, look at it with people on the cleats, look at it on every aspect of what can go into that injury, including the training and where a particular player is at any given time. So all those factors go into play, and that's where we make decisions on the basis of science, not because I see an injury that I don't like. Ultimately, I want our experts to come back and give it to us.
There is no greater expert than this man right here. He is the God of all turf. George, thank you.
The God of Sod.
That's right. Thank you for joining us. Just give us your overall view of what's happening right now with this controversy, George, and thank you again for making the time again.
Well, actually, I'm 94 years old, and I've been in this game for 81 years, so I've seen a lot of grass. But the NFL on playing fields went downhill 17 years ago when Roger Goodell took over.
Whoa.
Me and Roger Goodell were excellent friends. He took care of me. What a great guy he was. But in those last 17 years, maybe 12 times, we had bad playing fields. Under Troy Vincent, in his 10 years, 6 times we had bad playing fields, and nothing was done about them. And the problem started at Super Bowl 56 on a practice field for the Bengals, where we told the league the field's not ready, it's not that. But they went out to practice, and after practice they had a meeting. They said they couldn't practice on that field because it was unsafe. The players were slipping and falling and doing everything. The coach said he has to go to artificial turf practice. And I said, Coach, just wait here 2 minutes. I went and got Travis Hogan and Andy Levy and other NFL groundkeepers, and I told the coach to tell them your problem. He said, we can't practice on this field. Somebody's going to get hurt. We're going to have to go to the artificial turf field, but I don't want to go there because it's hard. And it's hot. I says, Coach, wait here 2 minutes. I went and got Travis Hogan, Andy Levy, and other NFL groundkeepers and says, Coach, tell him your problem. He told him his problem. I says, Coach, I'm 93 years old, and I've been in this game 80 years. And being in this game, I've been around the world and had a lot of problems fixed. And this is Travis Hogan, the groundskeeper for the Chiefs, who in my 81 years is the best groundskeeper I've ever seen. And Andy Levy knows his voice. I says, Coach, we'll put all our expertise together and we'll have this field ready for you tomorrow to practice on. And we did. Mm-hmm. And then that Saturday after last practice, the coaches hugged me. I said, don't hug me, hug those boys. But after that, they never fixed the fields. There's problems all over all the time. I mean, last year at the Super Bowl when I got out there, I said, this field can't be played on. The sod was excellent. But instead of the sod being laid on a pool table, it was laid on the plowed up sod farm, humps and bumps. And the 4 practice fields couldn't be played on because they were all bumps and humps and things like that.
George, we covered this with you last time you were on with us, and you were very strong.
We hate Eddie Mangan.
We are so down on Eddie Mangan, and we know that you have some problems with this, but we need your expertise because the Super Bowl was a disaster, and it's not your fault. You were embarrassed by it, and you tried to do everything you could to prevent it. But you just said that the fields have gone to shit under Goodell for 17 years, and I want to hold your feet to the fire here. Artificial turf, dangerous for the players, more dangerous, yes or no?
Well, it's who maintains it and how you maintain it is up to you and the team. But you have to maintain artificial turf that you like to do grass. But grass is better for the players. And I'll just say something now, that this past year was a bad year for the NFL on grass. They had the bad game field, practice field, but they also had bad grass in Germany and bad grass in Texas. In our shop talk, Eddie Mangan said the grass in Germany was trash. And the way he put it, he says the grass in Germany was like trash, like Wayne Ward is trash. Wayne Ward is the groundkeeper for the Tampa Bay, and he hates him. And then, from other sources, they said the field in Germany was bad. Plus, from other sources, the field in Texas was bad. But bringing this up with Roger Goodell, it didn't help. I'm under a little depression because for the last 2 years now, Roger Goodell hasn't talked to me. I mean, I didn't murder anybody. If you murder somebody, they still talk to you. But this put me in a depression. I'm fighting for a safe playing field, and the last few years they didn't. And in my book, they don't care. But Roger and Goodell was close. But when I told him that Troy Vince is not doing the job in his last 10 years there, and the league's not doing to have safe playing fields, and he just blew me off. But here, not to talk to me in 2 years or go over the situation, that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. I agree with you. So the NFL has both a grass problem and a Roger Goodell problem, it sounds like.
Well, Roger guy, I was close, but when I think he got mad at me when I says Troy Vincent didn't do the job. When he first took over the job, he was in Canton, Ohio, and the bad artificial turf, the logo, they had to cancel the game. The next day he went on TV and says, I'm new on this job and this will never happen again. But it did happen again. They went to Mexico Council, and under his last 10 years, 6 times the field was bad. Did he ever talk to me? No. I don't even know what the guy looks like. But see,
what the hell is going on? George, what's going on here? George, what's going on? Like, what? How are you getting boxed out? You've been working 8 decades with grass.
Well, they just don't give a damn, you know. They have to get together. And I would like to talk to Roger Goodell, but I said this in many interviews across the country and the world. I said the only way this will get settled, if I, George P. Toma, can meet with the players union, the owners, the coaches, and even NCAA that play on these fields, and get all these people together and let me talk to them and tell me what the problems were, and I could help them to alleviate this problem. But you think that'll ever happen? No, because
it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
They're scared.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Does George P. Toma need to get a meeting with the owners, the players, the coaches, and the NCAA?
Hundo P.
Yes, and everybody. George, we love you. You're right. Close us out here. Punctuate the segment.
Okay, well, one thing I like to say, if they don't do it, we have to take it to the government.
Yes.
We have to take it to the government because of the poor playing conditions, and they don't give a damn.
For Cooper Cup.
Yes, they're injuring the players, George. They're injuring them.
Because they don't give a damn, Dan.
They don't.
Oh, they don't give a damn, but the only one that's going to do them is George P. Toma having a meeting. And if they don't listen, we go to the government and let the government bring it in. And they've been doing that for the last 17 years. And Roger, I don't know why you hate me. For the last 2 years, you haven't talked to me. We were such good friends. We could have settled this problem years ago.
Like gentlemen.
But just like Troy Vincent, don't care, have a bad playing field, and I saved his fanny, and sometimes they didn't give a damn, like the Super Bowl 50, where the field was bad, and I say, and people say it was sabotage.
Preach.
And who cares? But who cared was Ned York. He had Ned York hired a man to investigate this because he was so perturbed because it was played on his field. And they found out what everybody know, that they screwed it up and they didn't give a damn, and it could have been sabotage.
Oh.
But again, we have, if they don't listen to me, but I can straighten them out. And I think the only way is take these people to the government and have bad working conditions. And they are, and I'll prove it.
He will prove it. Put it on the poll, Juju. Was it sabotage? And also put on the poll, did George P. Toma save Troy Vincent's fanny? Thank you, George. We appreciate it, sir. Always good catching up with you. We will talk to you again.
We love you.
Well, thank you to everybody and all those fans out there. May all your good fortunes be as numerous as blades of grass.
Yep.
But remember, it be natural grass, as the natural grass field is at Arrowhead Stadium. The best I've ever seen.
Thank you, sir. You're the best we've ever seen.
God of Sod. God of Sod. God of Sod. Join us, George. God of Sod.
Yes. Eddie Mangan.
Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on all the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code Dan to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Dan. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPENY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, HOPE is available for problem gambling by calling 888-789-7777 or visiting ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Don Batard.
Earlier in the show, the question was asked, what would Stugotz do with one invisible day?
Stugotz.
One day where he could be invisible. We decided that during banking hours, he would choose a weekday. He would rob all the banks in the universe from 8 to 5. And then at night, he would alter sporting event results by being an invisible man in games he had bet on.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So on one side, I've got this person writing in. I've been listening to the show for a long time, and the Lauer yesterday made me feel sick. Giving someone like David Sampson a platform to say stuff like that feels gross, and our collective outrage is doing nothing but spreading it. Gonna be taking a break from this show for a while. Ditch that guy, save the whales, pay the teachers. Then another person writes in on the totally opposite side. I think you guys misunderstood what Sampson was saying about the unemployment topic. The crew jumping on him without really understanding what he's saying and then treating him like shit honestly annoys the F out of me. Le Batard Show, be better, guys.
So everyone's upset about the segment, but for different reasons.
That is par for the course around here. Yes, nice. They are mad, but mostly they're mad at David Sampson. This is the one instance. Usually when I argue on behalf of labor in sports, not popular. But this is the one instance when it's David Sampson on behalf of billionaire CEOs in the face of corporate greed. This is the place where the majority of people do indeed rise up and say, I'm labor. I want to stand with labor.
David's not the best representation on the other side of it. If you've got a guy who's a stepson of an owner of a team who got to work in the front office of that team, working from home, sitting in a baseball glove, probably not the best go work labor.
It's a pretty expensive baseball glove, though. It's a nice chair.
Yeah, it is crazy because in a weird Machiavellian style, I can see, Dan, why you keep him around. You spent an entire career talking about sticking up for labor and why does everyone side with these billionaires? And everyone's like, shut up, Le Batard, I just want my sports. And then you bring David Sampson in and everyone's like, I see your point, Le Batard, these guys suck.
But it's not that. It's I hate both of you, I'm leaving now.
Oh, yeah.
That's what ends up happening. So, in an effort to get back some of the audience, we are going to go to the most craven and overt of things. Sex sells. It is something that people are willing to tolerate with their sports, unlike politics. And so Tony, after a European vacation, 3 weeks he was gone, and he has returned, and he has a top 5 observations that I've been dying for since Monday. But last year, Mike, you're the producer of this show, I felt like the top 5 needed something more than just Tony's opinion. We got plenty of people all over the world talking to microphones right now about football. It needed something. So I asked Tony, can you make it sexier? Can you put some sparkle on it? So let's find Tony. The video department has finally gotten up and running. And here is Tony. And where are you joining us from here, Tony? What is it that you're up to? I didn't ask for you to be shirtless, but I appreciate that you are.
You said you wanted it sexier, Dan.
I did.
Yeah, you wanted sexier, Dan. I'm here at the Iron Temple, like I usually am every day. And I'm excited to bring you. I'm doing, obviously, chest right here. It's a chest day.
You're going to be very tired by the end.
Top 5.
All right, you're going to be very tired by the end of this if you're starting. Although it doesn't look like there's much weight on that.
There's nothing on it.
Come on, yeah, that's at least 400. I know that's 400.
It's 45.
Throw another pair of 45s on here.
All right, let's ready. Are we ready? Do we have his music ready? We're ready. Let's go. All right.
Give me my theme music.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. Let's help him out here.
That's right.
Hey.
Sponsored, as always, by the haters, capitulators, and everybody in between. I'm also happy to announce.
Yes.
Hold on, Dan.
Sorry.
Tony's Top 5 is also partnering with Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes.
My boy.
Who are also sponsored by the haters.
Yes, sir.
Unlimited budget for them, by the way. It's crazy.
His hand is barely
Let me switch arms real quick.
Bar.
Here we go. Number 5. You heard it here first. Lions are winning the division.
Woo!
But I also like what the Packers did. And the Vikings are still good, even though if they lose to Tampa Bay and possibly tonight to the Eagles. Also, don't sleep on the Bears. The NFC North is good, guys. Sorry to tell you that.
Are you sure? You're positive?
Yeah. Yes, I am. After week 1, yes.
Nice.
All right, number 4. Keep an eye on Sam Howell.
No.
Special throw. Special throw to Brian Robinson Jr.
That game was so hard to watch. Arizona's terrible.
It was terrible.
Arizona was winning all games. Sam Howell threw for 200 yards. Keep an eye on Sam Howell.
Keep an eye. Dan, you saw the special throw, though, right?
I saw him at North Carolina, and I liked him at North Carolina. But that wasn't the game to think he's special.
It was a special throw, though.
Number 3.
Look at this workout.
Wait a minute. You're not using your arms anymore.
How are you pushing that up?
Wow. What are you pushing that up with?
Scoot up a little bit on the.
Like to know?
Good for you, bro.
Scoot up a little bit on the bench, and it'll be a really funny visual. There you go.
Number 3.
With your dick.
My guy.
I don't want to overreact. Mike McDaniel, Coach of the Year. Imagine if he had a real quarterback.
Hold on, say that slower. Say that again. Oh, yeah. All right, moving
Mike McDaniel, Coach of the Year.
Were you rubbing your freckled nipple?
It made me feel great, man.
Purple.
Number 2. So that's what Tom decided to wear, huh?
Is Dan drinking?
Little jersey? Like, he didn't need the official one that you tuck into the pads. Give me like the 4XL one we used to wear back in the day. That was crazy.
It was a bad look.
Also, don't look now. I just felt a pulse on Mac Jones's career.
What?
A little bit of a pulse.
What? So that
faint, but it's there.
So that also, though, was that number 1, or that was just a bonus number 2?
That was a bonus extra number 2, double Patriot observation.
Nice. Double P.
Whoa. Number 1. So the Giants owe how much money to Daniel Jones?
The bar's
Can
moving
somebody
a lot.
have that for me? I think it's $170.
That bar's moving a lot slower than it was.
Yeah, what happened? What's happening to your Daniel Jones?
Moving a little bit more centrally now.
Yeah, deep breaths. Tony, stop making that face when he moves.
Dan, listen, we have one thing to say as Cubans about Brian Daboll. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Calabaza, calabaza, todo el mundo para la casa. Se jodió la cosa. That was Tony's top 5.
Back, better than ever.
Yes.
Your penis is strong.
That was very, very strong. Thank you for all of your work. A fripple was rubbed there when he said that Mike McDaniel, Coach of the Year. Chris Cody, there were a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about, but one of them was you had a great paranoia before the show at that Stefon Diggs story and a reporter being caught on a hot mic saying something about Stefon Diggs that was, basically calling him a jerk. What was happening with you? Were you just having the paranoia about it specifically? Something could have happened to you here?
Yeah, I was at Dolphins practice a few weeks ago talking to Josh Appel, and I'm just like, it got me thinking, what was I saying at that press conference? I mean, it's just talking about how Vic Fangio looks like an Italian pizza owner. But that's so that would actually be funny if that's what got out there. If the story was reporter in Miami, Batard show producer, bad-mouthing Vic Fangio, saying he looks like a pizza owner.
I can only imagine how many of the local writers were having this panic, though, because I've been at that Dolphins presser a few times, and I feel like the worst things that ever get said about the people who were coming in to speak happen about 10 seconds before they walk in. So if you've got hot
and
mics
if they're running late, you're like, all right, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, diva. Oh, man. This person doesn't like to talk to us. It's terrible.
I did think interesting about week 1 of the Dolphin enthusiasm is we did sort of skip past the whole idea that Lord Fangs' defense didn't look great until that last drive.
Timely stop, Dano.
Did it when he counted.
W.
Going up against Kellen Moore. Hey.
It'll look a lot better against the Patriots.
Mac Jones has a pulse now, though.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Pulse. I'm worried about it.
Look at Chris
Not for
Cody.
me.
Chris Cody's cocky now.
Cocky Dolphins fan.
You're now, after one game, you're now cocky Dolphin fan. After last year, you moved your allegiances over to Justin Herbert publicly, and now
that was a bit.
Felt real.
I still have the baby.
This is year 2, though. Year 1 is like, I'm happy to be here, right? Year 2 is, F you. We're here.
Well, year 2 with a game 1 win. I don't know that he would be exactly there even if the Dolphins had lost because somehow Herbert had one drive at the end to score a field goal. I think we'd still be talking about Jason Sanders and the missed extra point. That's what we'd be doing.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is brought to you by KFC's new hot and spicy wings. Get fired up this fantasy season with 8 pieces of spicy marinated hand-breaded wings for just $4.99. Are you kidding me? They're a can't-miss call for whatever the fantasy gods throw your way. In the midst of a managerial hot streak, keep it rolling with KFC's new hot and spicy wings. Did you just assemble the worst lineup in fantasy history? Who cares? You can get 8 KFC new hot and spicy wings for $4.99 right now. Marinated in spice, hand-breaded to perfection. KFC's new hot and spicy wings are here. 8 pieces for just $4.99. It's finger-licking good.
Hey, it's Roy from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. U.S. Cellular knows how important your kids' relationship with technology is, and they've made it their mission to help them establish good digital habits early on. That's why they've partnered with Screen Sanity, a nonprofit dedicated to helping kids navigate the digital landscape. And for a smarter start to the school year, U.S. Cellular is offering a free basic phone on new eligible lines, providing an alternative to a smartphone for children. Start smarter with U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built for us to find out more. Terms apply.
Dan Le Batard.
I feel like we need to normalize saying the scientific terms for organs on the air. Like
penis?
if someone, yes, you know what? If someone takes a foul ball to the penis, we should just say he took a foul ball to the penis. Say it.
Stugotz.
That free kick hit him right in the cock-a-doodle-doo.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Ricky, how's it going? How does it feel when you're talking to somebody and they're about to arrive at your house and they hit you with, I'll be there in 15-ish. They throw that ish at the end of a time. An hour-ish, I'll be there in 20-ish. I'm just going to give you my take. Not a fan.
I love it. I always love more time because that just means they're going to be later than they said they were going to be.
So we want late is what we're going for.
Yeah, I like late. I like late.
He has no issues with punctuality.
Issues.
He has no issues. Yes, because he likes being late. He's rarely on time. Although you've probably gotten better at that as you've become an adult, no?
Wait. So this idea of late and on time is a man-made construct.
Thank you.
We show up when we show up.
Preach.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Yeah.
Chris Cody had another controversial take other than his issues take. He isn't someone who's a fan of the Uber water bottles.
Well, it's just who drinks them. I'm looking around at everybody in here, and Amin's raising his hand, so I guess you have. But I don't know anybody who would ever drink these water. You want this room temp water that's been in this car for 4 weeks?
I love room temp water.
You drink the water.
I drink the water, unless I have my own water.
That's a one-way ticket to death, sir. You don't know what whoever driving this car been with this water. You feel me? That might be poison water.
No, it's sealed. I'm not drinking open water. I'm drinking
sealed.
It's sealed, man. It makes that click sound when you open it.
No, but it's been in the sun for 4 weeks, though. All the plastic is going into the water.
Ricky's not drinking that water. Ricky, you're not drinking that water.
I typically don't drink water, period.
What?
So,
What?
Yeah, I'm typically not drinking the Uber water.
What do you mean you don't drink water, period? And put it on the poll, Juju, please. Is the bottled water in the Uber a one-way ticket to death? What do you drink, Ricky, if you're not drinking water?
I drink lemonade.
Just constant sugar or natural lemonade? Why?
There's some sugar. There's some sugar in the lemonade. Otherwise, it's too sour. But it's not a ton of sugar, but it's just enough.
Ricky, so you wake up in the middle of the night. You're really thirsty, dry mouth. You go to your fridge and drink some lemonade?
Yep. And there's not lemonade. There's usually some apple juice. But I prefer lemonade. And sometimes I'll put a little peach tea to make an Arnold Palmer. But mainly it's just the lemonade.
I'm shocked. I don't know why I would have thought Ricky Williams was like mainlining water.
I would have thought holistic water as well. That is something I did not know.
That is the most annoying thing. I mean, there's so many people out there, and probably there's a bunch in the room, but water people, I'm just like, man, I don't get it.
What do you mean water people? Water is good for you.
That's what you've been conditioned to believe.
Oh, Christ,
like,
man.
what research? No, seriously, what research have you done to validate that water is good for you?
Talk about it.
70% of your body is water.
This might be the hottest take in the history of the show.
I don't even understand where you're headed with this. I thought we all agreed that drinking water is good for you.
It's a necessity for life.
Okay. So there's water and lemonade. Perfect.
Yeah, but also sugar. There's also a lot of sugar. If all you're drinking is sugar water, that's less good for you than just water.
Okay, so So when did you become the dietary police?
Gauntlet has been laid.
I mean, at least to say that each of us, if we can acknowledge that we all need water, but each of us have different needs of water. Some people naturally retain water, so they don't need to drink as much. Some people don't, right? So they need to drink more. All I'm saying is there's personal preferences, and we get into these generalizations about what's healthy and what's not. It's just a way to torture ourselves.
So you're saying that you need water less than a normal person?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh,
nice. I love it.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. When did Dan become the dietary police? Yes or no? I wanted to talk to you about Aaron Rodgers. I wanted to talk to you about Aaron Rodgers' astrological chart. So start with what happened this week. I do believe this is fair criticism of us. The person who wrote in, Dan talking about how First Take dehumanizes athletes right after having a segment about the funniest things about Aaron Rodgers' injury is highly ironic. Touche, you got me. What are your thoughts on what happened with Aaron Rodgers, Ricky?
Oh, man. Like for an astrologer, this is, I guess it's dehumanizing, but this is like what we get excited about because we get to test our principles, you know? And I've always said that every football team, because of the injuries and how much of an impact they make on the game, needs to have an astrologer to be able to give you a sense of, you know, when someone is more likely to have some kind of accident, because that's essentially what an injury is. And so from an astrological perspective, our training is accidents typically are triggered by two planets, Mars and Uranus. Okay. Mars is the god of war. So that one's kind of obvious. Mars has to do with surgeries, blood, things that tend to happen when you go to war or play a rough sport. Right. And then Uranus is about things that are shocking, things that are surprising. Okay? And so when you put them together, you get accidents. Right. And when I looked at Aaron Rodgers' chart, and there is a birth time online, which makes it wonderful for us astrologers. Right. He was going through his Mars return, which means the Mars moving through the sky was exactly the same place as Mars was when he was born. Okay. And this is something anyone, his chart is online. Anyone can go up online and figure out how to look at where the planets were on the day the accident occurred. And you're going to see Mars is the same degree it was when he was born. Okay. Can't make that up. Right. And now looking for Uranus. Okay. When this happened, Uranus was at 22 degrees Taurus. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, midheaven, and the midheaven in astrology, it's the house where we look for fame. You know, so if someone is famous, we would want to look for stimulation to the midheaven to see when something was going to affect their fame, their popularity. Okay. The planet Uranus activating the 10th house. So that would tell us something potentially shocking going on with the Mars stimulation, right? It could be a victory, right? It could be coming from behind, or it could be an injury, right? And what we have in this situation is we have a shocking, surprising injury, right? And in my advice, because I get to be the astrologer, I don't have to care what other people think. And to me, this situation feels almost the same as when I retired for a year. You know, and you can argue it's a little bit different because I failed a drug test and all that other stuff, but it's the same end result, a year off. Okay, right, in a somewhat embarrassing manner. Okay. And so my advice, and I kind of thought this last year, was like, what is he still playing for? You know, and the chart indicates, you know, it would have been a really good time to retire and start something new.
Dan, may I suggest a poll question? Do you pronounce it Uranus or Uranus? Because I've never heard it pronounced Uranus before.
Uranus Antepacumpo.
Ricky,
I can answer that question.
Go ahead and answer that question first, because Amin's not the first to ask it. Go ahead and answer that first.
Yeah. Well, so the nature of this planet is that it forces you to be different or original. And so when you're saying the word, the name of the planet, it forces you to take a stance. How am I going to say it? What are people going to think? So you can say Uranus, you can say Uranus, you can say Uranus, you can say it any way you like. You know, if someone is into astrology, they're typically going to know what you're talking about.
If you were the Jets team astrologer, you would have been advising what before that game? Don't play?
I would have been I would have had a conversation. I would have talked to the team psychologist and had a conversation with Aaron Rodgers about retiring. Listen, it's the power of the conversation. Sometimes if you just open your mouth and you just speak to that, you're really thinking about something and you're wrestling with something, okay, right? Then the energy moves, right? It doesn't get pent up and expressed this way. And I'm not saying it would have avoided the injury, because it might have, but it would have put him in a better position to deal with the injury.
Ricky, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think any team will employ someone who tells the star player, retire. That's the advice.
It wouldn't be retire. It would be to, let's just talk about it.
Yeah, prepare.
You know, I'm telling you, I noticed this, and this is kind of a taboo subject. I noticed this in marriages, you know? Like certain people, at least when they say the D word, it releases tension and it allows the couple to actually have a real conversation. But if it's a word that they don't ever allow themselves to think or speak, then it kind of sneaks up on them and it happens anyway. But often when you at least talk about it, you get to see clearly, do I really want to be in this relationship? And I think playing professional football is one of those things where you can't even subconsciously, you can't be halfway in. You can't even be 75% in. There's too much on the line, especially when you're going through a Mars transit. So if you have clarity of purpose and you know exactly where you're going, typically it's not going to cause problems. But if you have some kind of ambivalence, then you got to be careful in a Mars time, because it's going to manifest.
Ricky, good talking to you. Always good talking to you. We'll catch up with you next week, 12:45-ish.
Perfect.